All right, you guys. So we are all done with day 2 of the Wealthy Trustee Workshop. I am so excited. Today we went over all things dealing with the private family trust. So I was able to break down all of the different sections and articles of the bylaws and declarations so that you guys can get a better understanding of the trust content so that you're able to operate efficiently and effectively. With that being said, I want to open up the floor for Q&A so that I'm able to answer any and all questions that you have based off of the information that we went over today. Okay, so with that being said, the first hand I see is M. Sherrill. M. Sherrill, are you available?
Hello,
Yes, I can hear you now.
how you doing, Christina?
Wonderful, splendid. And you, how are you?
I'm doing pretty good.
Awesome.
I just wanted to ask you, as it relates to the grantor and trustee, can those be corporations or LLCs or no?
Yes, so the grantor and the trustee and the beneficiary, they can all be entities or they could all be natural persons.
Okay. And one more question. As relates to all these trusts, um, we don't have to file the certificate of trust with the Secretary of State, right?
Correct.
Okay, that's all I need to know. I appreciate you.
You're welcome, sir. Thank you. All right, next we have, is it Monet?
Mona.
Mona.
Oh, wait.
Mona? Wait, no.
Wait, it
Okay.
might be somebody else. It's somebody else.
Okay. So some.
Yeah, that's me, Mona. Okay, listen.
Okay.
So, how you doing? So excited.
Great.
All
Yay.
right. I want to piggyback on what you just said about the grantor actually being able to be the LLC. And if that's the case, when you go in, when you um when you aid us in going to the IRS to put in the information to get your EIN. So then do we, for the social security number, do we put the EIN there for the business? Because the LLC has the EIN.
Yeah, so the IRS is very strict when it comes to an EIN applying for another EIN. So you have to take the manual route and do an SS4 form and mail it into them.
Okay, but it still
Mhm.
could be done. But LLC can be, it's just another route that has to be taken.
Correct. An EIN can apply for an EIN.
Okay, thank you. And then, all right, my original question was trustee power. It was from the trustee power Article 6. Um, it mentioned that you can have that you can acquire different assets and put them inside of the trust, right?
Yes.
But I thought that it was best, like say if I had a car to put in a different trust, if I had a house, put in a different trust, if I had, all these different entities, I will put them in a different trust. So when it was saying that you can get all of these assets with one trust, I got a little confused because it felt like, to protect each asset, it's good to have their own trust, but then you can also acquire different assets with the trust. So I was just like, okay, I was just a little stuck there.
Okay, so you can have multiple assets in one trust. Everyone is going to operate their organization differently. Okay.
Mhm.
Now you have to understand that some of these assets can be high liability assets. So for example, you have a car and you have a house. Would you put those into the same trust? So it's not safe to put the car and the house in the same trust because the car is out on the road, and if the car was to get into an accident, then they can sue the owner of the car. If the owner of the car is a trust, then they can go after the trust. If the trust has a house, then that house could potentially be up for grabs during that litigation. So you want to separate high liability assets from
Good,
low
yeah.
liability assets. So best practice is to have it depends on the asset class, but to have these types of assets like cars and houses in their own trust. So that's the safest method, but some people do like to to put them together. So it depends on how you want to operate and how complex or how simple you want your structure to be. So can all of the assets go in one trust? Yes, but it's very risky to put all of your assets in one trust. That's why we use multiple trusts. But for example, you might want to have, if you have two vehicles, do you want two different trusts, or maybe do you want one trust with two cars in it?
Okay, got you. So just keep in mind when you are getting acquiring assets for a particular trust, the liability asset, I mean the liability on each thing, to separate them would be the wise thing to do. Don't just go ahead and say, well, I can get a house under my trust. Let me get three houses over here. Let's separate them to be more safe. That's what you're saying? You
Yeah.
can put 1,000 and everything in one if you want, but that's not a great option. That's not a safe option. But you can do it. That's why you would say. That's why you explained it the way you did, and when you did, right? Because you
Yeah.
can do it, but it's not safe.
Yes.
Okay, thank you. That's it.
You're welcome. Okay, next we have Lawson. Hi, Lawson. Are you still available? You're on mute.
I put consulting. Yeah, I'm here. I
Okay,
apologize.
perfect.
It's so long.
Oh, not a problem. How are you, sir?
Oh, I'm wonderful. You know, I changed my name so I can start practicing putting that TTEE on the back of that thing there.
I love it. I see a
Um,
couple of you guys. Y'all on point. Let's go.
so the question I have for you is, as far as this family trust is concerned, when we talk about the difference between the beneficiary and the co-trustees, um, they can we can't on this particular trust, the family trust, you can't hold dual roles, right? You can't be a trustee and a beneficiary, right?
You can. You just can't be the only beneficiary. So that's for every trust.
Okay, right. I mean, because I heard you say that yesterday, but I know the irrevocable one, I know you can have multiple you can be the grantor and the trustee. But in
Or
the
for
irrevocable one,
mm-hmm.
you can't, right? You have to be only
Yep.
trustee. Okay, yeah, I'm just for a sec there, I got a little confused on a few things as I was writing it out, and so I just wanted to make sure that as a trustee, because my son, the basis is I'm trying to get my son to, be able to take over, because once me, of course, his mother, pass on, I want to be able to leave him the opportunity not to just be a beneficiary, because of course, then he have to be subject to all that taxes and all that stuff. But if he's the co-trustee, then he's able to control everything as well. So I
Mm-hmm.
just wanted to make sure. I
Yeah,
appreciate
he just can't be the sole beneficiary.
Right. So I got to add some other folks in there to
Mm-hmm.
benefit with.
You could add me in there.
I know that's right. I got you, family. Listen, we billionaires, family. We on our way. I look forward to meeting you in person, for
Yes,
real. I
it's
know
gonna
we
be
going
great. It's
I
gonna
know
be
you got some big things happening. So I'm definitely looking forward to that. But yes, in a minute we getting ready to be billionaires as long as we handle our business properly, because
yes,
it
let's go.
makes sense now. It makes
Yeah,
sense now. I appreciate you. Like I told you before, I was mad confused. And that's why I came in on the second time here, because I'm like, let me make sure, and I'm getting ready to execute everything. And so I'm feeling much confidence, feeling more confident and how to write this up, how to look at it, how to read it. And of course, just dealing with contracts, period. So
yeah.
I appreciate you, family. You're doing a good job. God bless you.
You're
And
welcome.
by the way, happy belated birthday,
Thank you. I appreciate
Miss
that. Woo woo.
Miss
Okay.
Christmas, Miss Christmas, baby.
Yeah.
Yes.
I love it. I love it. Thank you so much, Lawson. I appreciate you. All right, trustee, boss man. Yes.
God bless you. Thank you.
Thank you. So, two things. So one thing Lawson said is that this is his second time in the workshop. So I just wanted to also reiterate that you guys have lifetime access. So some of you guys have been here before, some of you guys are brand new. I just want you to know that every single time that we have a workshop, you are more than welcome to come and attend, and it's going to help with retention. Okay, so it's going to help with you understanding your trust agreements a little bit more, and for you to build up that confidence to know that you can operate it out in, out here in society. Okay. So the second thing is that I do want to be beneficiaries. So I just want to put that out there. One person in our community, so our community is 800 trustees. So one person did add me. So I'm officially a beneficiary. Okay. So I just wanted to put that out there, but I'm joking. But anyway, so let's continue on. So next we have Fran. Hey, Fran.
Hi, Christina. How are you?
I'm good, Queen. How are you?
Good as well. Thank you for asking and happy solar return.
Thank you. I appreciate that. You guys are so nice. Okay, this is a sweet group here.
Yes, you deserve it.
Thank you. Appreciate that.
So, quick question. I wanted to clarify, is the establishment date of the trust the same day that you get it notarized or not?
Oh, no, it could be two separate dates. So the establishment date is the date that the agreement was held between the grantor and the trustee. That's the establishment date. So it can very well be very different from the notarization date. And so that's why in the notary section where you're doing the acknowledgement, you have to put the date that it's actually happening. So it doesn't have to be the same.
Okay, awesome. And then my next question is, say that you use another trust as the grantor of this trust, for example, can you still be the trustee of this new trust if you're already the trustee on the other trust? And um how would that affect like you when applying for the EIN number for this trust?
Okay, so let me just understand it a little bit clearly. So you're serving as a trustee on one trust and you want to know if you can serve as a trustee on another trust?
Right.
Okay, yes, you can. The grantor can also serve on one trust and another trust. So you guys can serve on multiple trusts. That's the first thing. The second thing is you're talking about the EIN. So with the IRS, when you're applying for an EIN, they're going to ask you for both parties. They're going to ask you for the responsible party, which is the grantor. So you're going to provide their legal name and social security number. Then they're going to ask you for the trustee and you're going to provide your name. And then you'll submit the information and they'll provide you with the EIN for the trust. So you are the individual that's going to be operating the trust. So you'll have possession over that EIN letter that you'll then utilize in order to, do things on behalf of the trust.
But say the grantor is the trust, like another separate trust for the new trust when applying. So would you place the trust's EIN when applying?
So you have to go the manual route because the electronic, so the IRS, they are they're a little strict when it comes to an EIN, applying for an EIN. So you either need a social, a TIN, or an EIN to apply for an EIN. So if you're not going to provide a social, then you have to fill out, you can't do it online. So you have to fill out the SS4 and you have to submit it to them in order to get your EIN.
Okay. And now, would that cause any like conflict between the two trusts because of the fact of the matter is that the trust would be the grantor on this new trust. However, you are still associated with the trust. So technically speaking, you would kind of be in a sense be like the grantor and the trustee of this new trust with that?
Yeah, so it's gonna cause some level of confusion. So I would tell you, if the other trust has a co-trustee, then use that person for whatever entity it is, right? If not, then the way that it's going to appear is you are signing as an authorized representative for the grantor and the trustee.
Mm.
So that's going to it's going to appear like a conflict of interest. And I wouldn't recommend that you set it up that way to where you are putting your signature on both under both parties.
Okay, so you can still, but you can still use that trust, just if there's someone else associated in the other trust, you can use them instead. Okay, that makes sense. Um, and my next question would be, which bank would you recommend when opening a trust bank account besides Truist?
So in the course, I show you guys step by step on how to apply for a bank account with Ally. Ally Financial, they're an online bank, and they offer trust accounts, and they're really like seamless and easy. So all you have to do is just upload the certificate of trust and then fill out a form.
Okay. And then now for the virtual address, so say we use a virtual address for this current trust. However, if we're gonna keep it away from our names and like associated with like our home address and stuff like that, upon verification, you still have to provide your personal ID. Would that reflect when you use that virtual address? Would you be considered in the public or private at that point?
Yeah, so the reason why you have to use your personal information is because the USPS is a corporation, right? It's a government agency. And so um it's illegal for them to accept mail on your behalf or your entity's behalf. So that's why you have to have the notarized document in order for them to be able to accept mail on your behalf, okay? So that is internal with the company. So it doesn't create a public record. It's just internal with that virtual, address company so that they know that they have, their proper documentation that they can receive mail, for you or on behalf of the entity for you. Um, so that's why that is. It's just government regulations, actually.
Okay, but it wouldn't reflect
It
like
doesn't create a public record.
okay, that's fine. And then what trust would you recommend placing a car and a house if you were to keep them separated?
It depends on the use. So is the car for personal use or business, right? So
Would
I always tell people if you want to write off everything for the car, put it into the business trust. So it depends on how you're going to use it. And now the residency, is it for personal use or is it an investment with tenants?
mm. Now for
So
say for the residency, it would be personal use.
yeah, so then you're gonna put it in the family trust if it's your primary residence.
Okay, thank you. That's all.
All right, thank you, Fran. Next we have Robert.
Hi, Christina. How are you?
I'm great. How are you? I like your background.
Thank you. I appreciate your willingness and your time to walk us through this. This is just amazing. So thank you for that.
You're
Um,
welcome. Thank you so much. I appreciate you being here, Robert.
Couple of questions real quick. I want to piggyback off of a question that Fran just asked because I was kind of struggling with that last night. I went to the iPostal to set up the virtual address. The first question is, are we to use the personal or the business virtual address? Or
Oh,
does it
okay.
matter?
It really doesn't matter. I just always tell people to use the business one just because they offer you better addresses that are like more, commercial locations.
Okay. I set the business up, but down below I saw it where it said, hey, now you have to submit the information for the BOI. So that we need to do that as well.
No, so BOIs are not for trust, so you have to disregard that.
Okay. All right. So yeah, that's one thing I wanted to get clear. And I think you clarified the question as far as it remains separate, our personal information versus, within that entity, and it's not on the public side. So I was kind of confused on that, but you can answer that, the question that Fran just asked.
Yep,
So
that's
that's
correct. Yep,
okay. The other question I have is, does it matter? I noticed that when you were actually entering in your information, does it matter as far as the case sensitive, as some of it was caps and some was upper and lower case? Does it matter when we're entering this information in our document?
no.
Okay, awesome. And another question is, are we to obtain the copyrights for the trust names? No, you mentioned something about the something being copywritten. So are we
Yeah,
to get copyright?
so what it's saying is that your name is automatically already copywritten under common law. So it's already copywritten, so you don't have to go, as far as doing it like commercially.
Okay. Okay. And let's see. Oh, one last question. You answered this yesterday, but I just want to go back and clarify it again. With the foreign trust, we're able to put all of these particular trusts that we're creating out in a foreign trust, which is non-taxable. Is that still doable?
Yes, so a foreign entity is outside of the jurisdiction of the United States. So you'll be able to have your domestic entities as beneficiaries of your foreign trusts.
Okay. All right, awesome. That's all I have. Thank you again.
You're welcome, Robert. Next we have Joyce. Hi.
Hey, me and this might be messing up sometime.
Oh yeah.
So, hi, because I'm on an iPad, so it drops down and then it disappears.
I know when I'm all doing it on my phone, I could just barely get it right because of my thumb and everything.
Correct.
Yes,
So, 3 questions for me.
yes.
You add the successor trustees on that last page of the family trust. Is that the only place where the successor trustees name go?
Yeah, so what you want to do also is you want to have a board meeting when you appoint everybody. So you're just going to have a board meeting to appoint the successor and other board members. So you'll list their names in a board meeting, but other than that, yeah.
How many board members would you suggest?
So besides you, 2 other board members.
So the board is a total of 3.
Yeah, so it can be minimum of 3 individuals, you being one of them, and then the other 2 can be either a general manager or treasurer or secretary or whatever position that you want to create.
So we're like a dual trustee, with both the husband and I on as trustees, even though he's listed as the first trustee. So we'll need one other person.
Correct.
Okay, next question. Article 17, Section 1. Can you briefly explain that again?
Yes, let me see. 1 second. Hold on 1 second, okay?
Okay. And that's the renewal of the trust.
Okay, 1 second. Let me pull it up.
Among the cities expected to see home prices grow between 3% and 4% on average. Economists expect.
Hold on for me 1 moment.
Okay.
But they've stayed much higher than expected as well. I'll be right back.
Okay. You said renewal?
Article 17, section 1.
Okay. Okay, so the Board of Trustees has the power to renew the trust for any reasonable term not to exceed the original term. So what we're saying here is that your trust is due to expire in the original term, right? Based on the establishment date. So let's just say that you set it up for, 50 years. So if you set it up for 50 years and today's your establishment date, then in 2075 is going to January 7, 2075, it's going to be expired. So you can either let it expire or you can renew it. You have the power to renew your trust, okay? Or the trustee has the power to renew the trust, okay?
Okay.
So if you're going to renew the trust, then it's going to be renewed, but it cannot exceed the original term. So what we're saying is that your original term is 50 years. So you can choose a renewal term of anywhere between 1 to 50 years, but you can't go, you can't exceed the original term. So you can't choose to renew it for 100 years if your original term is 50, okay?
Gotcha.
Okay, so that's the first part of it. The second part is that if there are any beneficiaries that have no objections, then that's fine. The renewal is going to go smoothly. Now, the decision to be renewed needs to be done prior to the expiration date. So you're not going to wait until the day that the trust is due to expire, January 7th, 2075, right? So you're going to renew it at least 60 to 120 days before that, okay? So meaning that one, you can't renew your trust 2 to 3 years in advance before it's due to expire, and you can't wait until that 60-day window of when it's going to expire. So it has to be done at least 2 to 6 months prior to the expiration date so that you have enough time to get everything, situated, okay, for the renewal. Okay, so that's the second part of it.
Okay. So thank you. You did that one. For the successor, for the Board of Trustees, do you need their social security numbers or just their names? How much detailed information?
You just need name, address, and phone number for the board members and the successors.
And last question for real. The TCU, do you have a TCU template that we can make a copy of and utilize it?
Yeah, I can provide it.
Okay, thank you.
You're welcome.
That's it.
All right, perfect. All right, thank you, Ms. Joyce. Next, we have Crystal. Hi, Crystal.
Great day and happy belated solar returns.
Thank you, I appreciate that.
Okay, I'm overloaded here. I just won a case against my ex-husband. He reopened our divorce case after 8 years, and they just nulled and voided everything that he submitted. With that being said, I wanted to find out about retirement accounts, particularly during separation. Can you put, even though the person's name is still on the account, just hypothetically speaking, even though the person's name is still on the retirement account, can you establish when you actually separate it in the retirement account at that point and then put it in the trust? The point that you actually separate it?
That is a very interesting question, and I'm going to be honest with you. I think that you have to contact the firm where that retirement account is to find out if you're able to do that.
So if the retirement account, I work for the federal government. So if the retirement account is with the federal government, if I can establish a separation date that we officially separated, could I start it from that point moving forward and then put it in a trustee account after that's established?
So So, retirement accounts generally are for the individual, and you can't change the ownership to the trust. You can only list the beneficiary as the trust.
Okay, so I have to figure out what, if they're still the beneficiary, if there was a separation at that time, to see if they're still up there as a beneficiary.
Yeah, so you have to contact them and ask them.
Okay, that's the first question. The second question is list the beneficiaries. I was trying to put the will information in here, and we talked about that lightly the last time. I was taking the class. Okay, so where do you put the will information?
So, those provisions, it depends on what the provision is, right? So if it's a certain provision, let's just say about children, right? Then you might want to put those provisions in the beneficiary section. If it's not appropriate for it to go in the beneficiary section, then you might want to create a new article dealing with guardianship and then put the provisions there. So if you don't find a specific spot where it would be ideal for those provisions to go based off of the existing sections, then create a new section for it.
So it would be a new article or just a new section?
A new article, and then that one provision will be its own section in that article.
Okay. I have a business, kind of sort of a business power of attorney or a medical power of attorney and directive for my mother as an example, because she was a congestive heart failure patient. She's 81 years old and my dad is 84. Do I still make them trustees over their account? And then I come in as a second trustee so I can be able to maneuver the way I need to maneuver to help keep their bills and things paid for. How would you set that up for elderly people?
Yeah, so if your parents want to maintain some level of control over their estate, then you can be their co-trustee.
Co-trustee. Okay. I'm writing this down. Okay, so the beneficiaries after, okay. And basically what they have is they have a house, they have a timeshare, and they have a car. And then my dad has some mutual funds, things of that nature. You're saying don't put all of those things together, put them in separate trustees? I mean, trust, sorry.
Trust.
Yes.
Yeah, it just depends. So like the house and the retirement accounts are low liability assets, so you can put them in one trust and then the car in a separate trust from the other assets.
House and mutual funds.
Yeah.
House, timeshare, and mutual funds, right?
Yeah.
And then the car separate. Okay. When you were talking earlier, you were actually talking about I have a rental property, and you're saying that you could put it under the private trust, but now you're saying put it under the business trust.
So if it's a rental property and it's cash flowing and you're getting income and it's not your primary residence, you don't live there, put it under the business trust.
Business trust, okay.
Put it under a business trust.
Okay. Let me go back to the power of attorney. So the medical directive, would that go under the beneficiary section, separate section too?
Yeah, you can put those provisions that there is an advance directive.
Okay. Let me see. Now, when you change to Ally Financial Trust account, they have accounts with Wells Fargo, and my parents have accounts with Wells Fargo, PNC, the State Employees Credit Union in North Carolina, things of that nature. Do I go to Ally with all these accounts, or what do I do?
No. So you will create a new bank account with Ally in the name of the trust. Those other existing accounts are in your parents' personal name. And so those are going to remain intact in their name, and you're going to list their trust as the beneficiary of all those financial accounts.
So I just go to the bank and just
Contact the bank, let them know that you want to update the beneficiary.
on each of those accounts.
That is correct.
Okay, all right, let's see. Retrieve level of beneficiaries. Okay, so right now the beneficiaries would be my parents in their trust. Okay, so when just hypothetically, if one of my parents passed away, is there different levels of beneficiary? So for example, if my mother and my father passed, then it would be my sister, my brother, and myself as the sub beneficiaries. And if something happens to any one of us, then the grandchildren. How would
Yeah.
that?
So everyone's a TCU holder, and then their TCU, as long as you've documented, their TCUs will go to their heirs. So if their heirs are their children, then their TCUs will go to their children.
So you don't have to identify.
You can, if you want to, you have to document it. So you have to document in the board meeting that they want their TCUs to go to their 3 children and identify the names of those individuals.
Okay. I think that's it. If there are any additional questions, I know you have volunteers. How do you establish that relationship?
So, I mean, I always tell people to get into the Facebook group and the Telegram, and then you can put your questions there. You can send us an email.
Okay.
Yeah,
Thank
and then we send out the volunteer directory every 2 weeks.
All right. Thank you so very much.
You're welcome, Crystal. Next, we have Stacy.
Hi, good afternoon,
Hi, Stacy.
and happy belated birthday to you also.
Thank you. I appreciate that. Thank you so much.
Okay, so my question was, what, oh, can you, do you guys have a template for a good privacy document agreement? Is that a agreement document? Contract for like, the oncoming treasurer or maybe the accountant or whomever, or a trustee, etc. Do you guys have a template for that?
What is the name of
You know how you're always talking about in the trust there is everything's under the Privacy Act of 1974, right?
Yes.
The Fourth and Fifth Amendment. So everyone has to sign a document. I'm presuming a contract document.
Yes.
Is there a template? Do you guys have a template document?
No, the only one that we have is like an independent contractor agreement for those individuals.
And it lists and it says, Privacy Act of 1974, et cetera, et cetera.
Yes, but it's not available inside of the list of resources.
Oh, okay. Okay. So do we have to get that from somewhere? Do we have to buy that? How do we
So you can send us an email.
request it, a copy
Yeah.
of that? Okay, thank you.
You're welcome.
And thank you again. That was my only question. And great questions so far, everyone. Thank you. I'm learning a lot.
Thank you. All right, next we have Alan.
Yes, first of all, thank you very much for being kind and patient with all of us.
Thank you.
Question I have is about do we have to register this trust to anything? And it's how the government or anybody knows where it exists.
Yeah, you don't have to register it. So once it's legalized, once it's notarized, you just start operating.
Okay, then I guess EI number is just our registration automatically.
Yeah, so the trust, it's not required for the trust to have an EIN number. It's just easier if you're going to open up a bank account for the trust and you're going to separate trust funds from personal funds.
Okay, then another thing is, you mentioned somewhere, make sure I understand. For example, this is a family trust, and if we get any financial, because for whatever reason, you said if you give it to the beneficiary as a gift, then they don't have to pay tax.
Correct. Yeah, you can give them gifts, you can give them advancements, you can give them distributions.
Okay, then, for example, this is a family trust. If I put what kind of the business I'm going to make money on this one to have to pay the tax.
Okay, you kind of lost me. Say that last part again.
Okay, this is a family trust.
Yes.
And what kind of money I'm making on the family trust, then I have to pay tax to the beneficiary, pay something to beneficiary if I have to.
So the income from the income for the trust is going to have to pay the taxes on it. So the trust is going to file a 1041. That income, if the trust doesn't want to pay income taxes on it, then the trust is going to distribute it to the beneficiaries. The beneficiaries are going to pay income taxes on it.
Yes, but
So
where?
that's 100%. So the distribution, the difference between a distribution and a gift is that the distribution is 100% tax deductible to the trust, and 100% taxable to the beneficiaries. The gift is not tax deductible to the trust, and it is not taxable to the beneficiary.
Okay, where does the money come from? From the home family trust. Because of business, we know we make the business, we put the rental or something, we make money. But with this is a family trust, where the money make to be have to pay the tax to it.
I mean, so that's if your family trust is generating income.
Such
So
as,
so you have to put the trust in position to generate income.
okay,
The family trust can generate income. It could be from investments like crypto, stocks, bonds, different ways of cash flowing, real estate, different things like that.
for family trust. But we
Yeah.
don't put but we don't put the real estate as a rental in the family trust because we are going to open the business trust on that.
Correct.
Okay, then you tell me, okay, then when I get the business trust, then I make the rental, whatever, like 10,000 rent, for example, I can give it to my beneficiary. My beneficiary is my family trust as a gift.
So it's not ideal to do that. So the thing is with the business trust, right? The income from the family trust is coming from the business trust if you're doing a distribution.
Okay,
So the whole point of doing a distribution is for it to be tax deductible. So you wouldn't do it as a gift.
okay.
Yeah.
Okay, then we don't have to register, understand, and for now, but thank you very much again.
You're welcome. All right, next we have Derek.
Hey, afternoon.
Hi, Derek.
Happy belated 21st birthday.
Yeah, that part.
I got just a couple of questions. First, I've been in a couple of I don't know, Zooms like this where I pay for a service and they never really do live questions and answers. It's always just something. So this is a really big value, you answering individual questions. So I appreciate it.
Thank you, Derek. I appreciate you for saying that.
You're welcome. So really quickly, just a couple of my questions. The biggest difference between this, trust and, well, I should say the private family trust and the unincorporated business trust. Like, what's the difference in between these?
That's a good question. So, The purpose and intent, right? So the purpose and intent for the unincorporated business trust, it is for it to manage other trusts and for it to manage other legal entities like LLCs and corporations. That is not the same purpose and intent as the family trust. The purpose and intent of the family trust is what we went over, is for conservation and preservation of wealth for the trust certificate unit holders. So
Okay.
business is business and business is not personal. Personal is personal, personal is family.
Okay. Perfect explanation. And how easy is it to do edits to your trust whenever they are submitted?
Whenever you have finalized it and you want to do what, like you want to make a change.
Add a beneficiary or add a protector, something like
Yeah,
that.
so you'll have a board meeting to document the changes that you're going to make. And then you can create a form, kind of like one of the schedules, and it'll say amendment on it, and then you'll just identify what that amendment is. So you'll do amendment 1 and then adding 2 beneficiaries.
Okay, perfect. In the virtual office, what if we, put the address there, and we're not paying the $9 a month anymore? Are we expected to like receive mail there, or can we receive mail from like a personal address, or what if we stop paying for the virtual office every month?
So if you stop paying, then your stuff gonna get repoed.
Okay.
So, um, so if you're not intentional about having your trust have a separate address from you, then don't go to the extent of opening up a virtual address. So it's supposed to be utilized to separate you and your public record from the trust and its residency. So that's going to protect you in the long run. In the event that someone wants to serve your trust, they're going to knock at your door if you're using your personal address, right? The second thing is then you're going to allow it to be very easy for them to know. And when I'm saying them, I'm talking about attorneys and people who want to make claims against your organization, for them to know that you're associated with it because you guys have a common address. So like if you look through the public records, every single person who uses the same address as you, they have that person known as an associate of you. So that could be a sibling, a parent, a roommate. You don't want your trust to be known as an associate of you.
Okay, perfect, perfect. Last question. In terms of having your, um, I think my uncle just bought a truck in his business name. Are there regulations to write-offs? Like, does it have to be a certain weight? And is it best to try to write that off? Can he transfer that into his trust and then try to write it off, or does it need to be a certain weight?
Um, so when it comes to the trust, it doesn't have to be a certain weight, right? That's only if you want to, when it comes to vehicles, right, you can either decide to write it off all in 1 year or write it off within a period of time, usually 5 years. So if you want to write it off all in 1 year, then there is a weight restriction. If you don't want to write it off all in 1 year and you want to write off 20% for 5 years, you can do that. Now, so with your uncle's situation, if he already has a car note, he doesn't have the title to that vehicle, and so he won't be able to transfer the title into the trust unless it's paid off. If he doesn't want to pay it off, then he's gonna have to refinance that vehicle into a new loan that is held in the name of the trust.
Ah, okay. Wow. And so very simply, once he refinances um that into the name of the trust, he can start writing off at that point.
Yes, those are administration expenses. So
Okay.
while he's driving that car, he's in trust business. So anything associated with it is an expense.
Okay. Perfect. And for more questions, what email is best? Is it the one we've been receiving?
Yes.
All right. Thank you so much for your time.
You're welcome, Derek. Next we have Dreamy Jermaine Nana. Am I saying your name right? Is it Jermaine? You're on mute.
Hi,
How
it's
are you?
Dreams Nana.
Dreams Nana.
Yeah.
I love that.
And I have a Christmas baby too. That's Dreams Mama. So happy
Ooh, I
birthday.
love that. I love that too. Oh my goodness. You know what? Like Christmas is actually a rare birthday. Not a lot of people born on Christmas.
Well, child, well, it started on the 24th and ended on the 25th.
Same thing for my mom. That's
Oh,
that's
bless
the
her heart.
blessing.
Bless her heart.
Yeah.
Okay. Speaking of which, beneficiaries. When I add on beneficiaries, can I add my granddaughter as a
Yeah.
beneficiary?
Yeah,
Okay.
you can put whoever you want.
All right. The other thing, I got a little confused because you said under common law, just a private, that my name is automatically copywritten or it's understood to be copywritten.
The name of the trust or
Oh,
you could be operating.
okay. Okay, I got it. All right. I understand that part now. So the trust that we made yesterday, the business trust, is totally different entity from the family trust what we did today.
That is correct.
But I can put the family trust under the business trust or
As
no,
as
that's
as a beneficiary, yes.
the family trust under the business trust. Okay, so what's the shell, the holding, the foundation, and then everything else falls up under it?
Yeah, so the way it works is you have the business trust that's generating income and the money is flowing from the business trust into the family trust. So the beneficiary of the business trust is the family trust. And then you have the nonprofit and the nonprofit funds can go from the business trust and from the private family into the nonprofit.
Okay, so the nonprofit
We're going to talk
is
about
the
that tomorrow.
oh, okay. I won't get ahead of myself.
Yes, ma'am.
So what I'm trying to do now is set my name up as a business.
Mm-hmm.
Um, so if I do that using the trust that we made yesterday, there's no anonymity.
So
Okay, I'm asking, is it or is it not no anonymity, or is it a way that I can? Because I'm my straw man. I'm trying to turn my name into a business. Period.
okay,
My all
okay.
caps.
Yeah, you can do that with the business trust. So there wouldn't be any like there wouldn't be any, I don't even know how to say this word, anonymity. If you used it as a statutory entity in one of the states where you know, where the owner is a part of the public records and listed on the Secretary of State. So the whole point is for you to have privacy, right? And so
Right,
your your
right.
your business trust is not, you're not going to register it anywhere. So you do have that obscurity that you're looking for.
If I took and made my all caps name the the business trust.
Correct.
Okay. Okay. I'm trying to make sure that I got it all for now because First of all, and then let me clarify something. Yesterday, when you asked me to change, I am not tech savvy, and thanks to my darling children, I have an iPhone, which I'm not, like I said, I'm just not tech savvy, and I do better with an Android, and my Android is broke, and my computer is not set up. So I wasn't being antisociable or anything like that. I'm just not tech savvy, and I really don't like
Oh, good. Not
iPhones.
a problem. Not a problem at all. I'm not tech savvy either.
So that's what that was about yesterday. It's not that I was trying and I just couldn't figure it out in time enough. But um okay. I think I have for now all the questions that I need. Uh,
Okay.
I tried to set up Telegraph. I downloaded it, and that's as far as I got with that. And I'll try to get it completed and then in the Facebook group where I have, where I can ask other questions to other people in the community.
Okay, sounds good. Thank you.
Yes, ma'am. Thank you very much.
You're
Happy belated.
welcome.
You're Cappy, right?
I I am. It's Capricorn season.
A Capricorn.
We the best.
Yes. Yes, yes. I agree. Thank you so much, Miss Christina.
You're welcome. Next, we have Ramona. How are you?
I'm doing well, thank you. I had a couple of questions as far as can all of your trusts, or is it recommended, be have different states?
Yeah, they can.
Okay. Now, in event of your beneficiaries, as you're listing them as your children, and then you're going to multiply this in years, but what if your children don't have children? How would that work out? So that's when it goes back to, well, even with the original ancestor, were you going into cousins or something like that? Like, what happens if your children don't have children?
If your children don't have children and they did not list a heir, or like they didn't list someone that they want to inherit their TCUs, the TCUs go back to the trust, and whoever the acting trustee is going to redistribute the TCUs.
Okay. And then I guess at the end, if end of that, then it would have to be kind of voided if they're the last remaining person and they're the trustee.
So when you say at the end of
at
what?
At the end of the term, the trust term.
Okay, so at the end of the trust term, the trust is terminated, and whoever the remaining beneficiaries are, they will receive the assets that are inside of the trust.
Okay. Can the beneficiaries also be board members to all three trusts?
Say that again.
Can the beneficiaries be acting board members on all three trusts in some capacity?
No. So,
okay.
So beneficiaries cannot be board members.
Okay. So as a trustee, can we be beneficiaries as well? So if it's me and my husband is trustee and co-trustee, and then we have 4 children, so are we all listed in the same, or in a percentage of the TCU as beneficiaries?
Correct.
Okay. All right, thank you.
You're welcome, Ramona. Next we have Mate. I don't remember how to say the name. I'm sorry. Machine.
Yes, hi, my name is Joel. I'm actually using my wife's account.
Oh, okay. Oh, Joel.
Voice.
Okay.
I have a quick question. Do all 3 trusts need different addresses?
So it depends on how you operate them. So if they're not going to be operating in the public, then the trusts that are going to remain private can use the same address. If the trusts are going to be operating in the public, meaning serving as a holding company or building credit, then it needs its own address.
Makes absolute sense. So the second question and last one. Let's say I put my land and my private residence up on the family trust. What happens when I receive a tax bill, a property tax bill from the county?
That's
How do
awesome.
I address that?
Yeah, so it's going to come in the name of the trust because they tax the owner. And so it's going to be a trust expense. So once you place those assets into the trust, all expenses related to those assets come out of the trust estate. So that could be utilities, that could be taxes, that could be maintenance, that could be mortgage, or anything else that's associated with those assets.
So so if that said property is in this private trust, there's no returns, there's no properties being used for profit, there's no income coming whatsoever. Can they still property tax that trust?
Yeah, that trust is not exempt from taxes. The family trust is not exempt from taxes. The family trust is a for-profit entity and it's structured as a trust. And if it generates income, it has to file an income tax on the 1041.
Gotcha. And if this doesn't generate any income, it still has to pay taxes but only if there's income, right? You don't pay taxes on the property, on the value of the property.
So your property is subject to property taxes because you have it registered with the county. The county is going to charge you taxes no matter if it's in a trust or if it's in your personal name. It depends on the type of trust that you're using.
Okay.
Entonces no hay manera que te se lo
Okay, thank you. Thank you very much. That's
Okay.
it.
Yeah, you're welcome. So tomorrow we're going to talk about the tax exempt trust, and then we could talk about other things dealing with taxes. Okay, Joel?
Fantastic. Thank you so very much. We'll be here.
You're welcome. Next we have Kanan.
Hey, good afternoon. How you doing?
Hi, how are you?
All right. Thanks again for putting this on.
Welcome.
Everybody else says so informative, and I'm learning a lot from your questions as well. I just had a simple one. Actually two. In section Article 14, Section 6, right? In my situation, I don't have any children, and my mother and father is deceased. So when you say when I was thinking of a direct descendant, I was actually going to say a descendant of me, but I don't have any children. But I was going to use as beneficiaries my nieces and nephews. It's like 6 of them. So I guess the second question is I didn't know how I would word where it says the second cousin as far as the family, the second portion of that statement. If I made him a direct descendant of me, but a second cousin of both of my family sides, is that what that would be something similar like that? Or
So it would be a second cousin of the TCU holder. So for your situation, because you don't have any direct descendants at the moment, it would be ideal for you to put the ancestors before you because those beneficiaries are direct descendants of them.
so like a grandparent, you mean, like or something like that? Okay. All right. Okay, I can follow that.
I should have just said that.
That's fine. I mean, I follow that. That's fine. I follow that. That's fine.
Yeah.
The other, go ahead.
So put your parents. So put your mom and your dad, and then your
But I was
nieces.
the only child.
Then how are they your nieces and nephews?
Well, I guess my dad had, so he
So
had
you're not,
several
so you're
children.
not the only child.
I was just
That
thinking
part.
about my mom. Okay.
Yeah. So put your dad.
I definitely, okay. The last question, is there a limit to how many trusts you can be a trustee under?
No, it's
Okay.
unlimited.
Okay. All right. Those are my questions.
Awesome. Thank you.
Thank you.
Appreciate
Good, because
it.
I wanted to know that.
All right. Next we have Michelle.
Hello, how are you today?
Good. Wonderful, Michelle. How are you?
I'm good, I'm good. I just have a quick question about the iPostal. I wanted it to come in as the board of trustees instead of my name. How would I do that with the what is it, the USPS form that we have to file and the notary?
Yeah, okay. So you're gonna set up the account and then you're gonna list the board members. So ideally it's the secretary. The secretary is the individual that's gonna be receiving the correspondence for the trust. So then we'll have them fill out the form. So give them the login information for the iPostal account, have them fill out the form and complete the notary.
Oh, okay. All right, thank you. That's my only question.
You're welcome. Next we have a set.
Hey, Christina. Happy
What's up,
New Year.
Queen?
Happy
Thank
born
you.
day.
Yay, thank you so
Belated born
much.
day. Look, I only have one question for y'all.
Yes, ma'am.
Okay. And I totally forgot what it was. Let me recollect.
You want me to come back to you?
You can.
Okay, I'm gonna go. I'm gonna go to Namir and then I'll come right back to you. Okay.
All right. Thank you.
Okay. All right, Namir. Namir, you on mute. We can't hear you.
Okay.
All
My
right.
goodness.
What's up,
Blissful
bro?
Earth Strong too, Christina.
Huh?
I said blissful Earth Strong and like many more, many more, many more.
Thank you. I appreciate that so much. I appreciate you. Thank you, thank you, thank you.
Yes, I had to just come up here and say you are the greatest. Oh my goodness.
Thank
Man.
you.
I mean, you are like a plethora of information, man. Like you are the minister of information.
Thank you.
Oh my. No, I just had to come on and just wish you a blissful Earth Strong and just say you the greatest, man, what you're doing. And I love it. And every time I come on, I learn something more and more and more. It's like, and just actually being in the class today, it's not a lot to it, but it kind of is, putting all the different puzzles together, the pieces together. So I say to you, in peace and love.
Thank you. I appreciate you so much, Namir. Thank you for always showing up and showing out in all of our sessions. And I'm glad that you're learning so much. So thank you, thank you, thank you. I appreciate you so, so, so much for always being here and adding value to the community. You're awesome. All right, so let's circle back to a set.
It's a no-go. I'm just going to have to wait and get at the back of the line. I can't believe I totally forgot that simple question that was on my mind the whole time. So give me a second. Thank you, though.
Okay. All right, you're welcome. All right, next we have Mona.
Okay, my question is about the all three or how many trusts that we open. Can we, like for the family trust, can we put the business and the nonprofit, and for the business, can we put, all of them as a beneficiary? Can we just add them? Because I had noticed that you had put, for the family trust, family, but some people, don't have family that they want to inherit it, but I know it's at the end of the time when, so what I'm saying is if you make them
I
all together like
understand.
we doing right now. Okay, go ahead.
I understand. So like if you don't have family or beneficiaries, can you add your other trust as a beneficiary? Yes, you can. So you can name whoever you want as your beneficiary. And if it's your other trust or other entities, that can be, you can structure how you want. Yes.
Yeah, but the question is that just came in mind while I was asking the question is that we are creating most of them today, right? The foundation of them, so we could create as many more as we go on. But they all gonna expire in 100 years, and they all gonna expire the same year because we're doing these right now, right? And so if I'm putting the other ones with the other ones, they all gonna expire. So what happens then?
So there's somebody who's operating it and they're all going to get renewed.
Thank you so much.
If that's what it is. And then if you have
Okay.
that picture, then go ahead and choose different expiration years. So choose 99 years, 98 years, 100 years. You don't have to do it like the way that, the way that we're showing you. I told you you can choose between 1 and 100 years. It doesn't have to all of them don't have to have the same term.
Okay, now one question. Can we create a new article or add in there that after the 100 years that it's mandatory that it be set for another 100 years? Can we put that in there so that when it does expire, it has no choice but to be renewed because that's inside
So you
the
can
beginning?
use the term mandatory, but the trust is discretionary to who's operating it. So you're not sure what 100 years might look like.
That's right. All right. Thank you.
You're welcome. All right, next we have Jen Burnett, the infamous. Jen,
Hi, Christina.
what's
I think
up?
I've said this. I
What's
think I've
up,
said this
lovely
before,
lady?
but can you hear me?
Yeah, Jen has a daughter named Christina.
Can you hear me?
Yes, Jen, we can hear you.
Okay, because it says done speaking. All
Oh,
right.
yeah.
I think I've given this testimonial before, but I do thank you for answering our questions because I too have been in a situation where you paid for a service from an expert person and you no longer hear from them. So thank you for that.
Like, poof, they disappear.
They disappear, yeah. And of course, when they disappear, I come after them.
Yeah, I know.
So,
Jen doesn't play
yeah,
no. But Jen, I want
yeah.
to tell everybody in the community that your daughter's name is Christina.
Yes, my daughter's name is Christina, and she just flew back to Hawaii yesterday
Oh,
when
that's
we got
beautiful. I
that
need to see
snow.
it.
So I'm so glad. Yeah, she's back home now in Hawaii. Another Christina.
Yeah, so you
So
guys,
I just have one
we're a family. We're a family here in this community. So we really like get to know each other on first name basis, and then we get to know the kids and then the grandkids and the
Yeah.
successors.
Mm-hmm. So
Okay,
true. And as I was
so
listening earlier,
yeah.
my oldest daughter asked while we were listening, because I turned it over, said, my bank account to your family. But the one question that I have,
You're breaking up though. You said she wants to do what with her bank account?
she asked if she can add her bank account to the trust.
Yeah, so she can have the family trust be the beneficiary of her bank account.
Okay. And that's what I told her. So she's learning.
Good.
But my question was about the life insurance. Insurance company, once you're your trust, then to form trust.
You're breaking up. You're breaking up
So,
so bad, Jen, that I can't even hear the question. It's really bad.
oh wow.
Okay,
Oh,
I can hear you now, but it's really bad. Say it again.
okay. And I am sitting still. I'm sitting
Okay.
still, so I'm not sure why it's bad. But my
Okay.
question is, I was told by my current life insurance company that once the trust is established, I will need to complete a form to add the family trust as the beneficiary to the life insurance policies. So my question is there any advantage to changing the beneficiaries to the trust as opposed to just leaving my daughters on the policy as beneficiary? And the reason I ask is because when my mother passed away 2 years ago, and her children listed as the beneficiary, everything went smoothly. There was, we received the benefits and it was just smoothly. So I wanted to know, is there an advantage to changing the beneficiaries to the trust? Or can I just leave it?
So who do you want control over the death benefit? Do you want your daughter to have full control over the death benefit, or do you want that death benefit to go to the trust to then be managed by the trustee? That's what you have to determine.
Okay, so with that question, then yes, I would want my daughters eventually to have control of the death benefit like I did when my mother passed.
Okay.
And it goes smoothly. Okay, so I don't need to make any changes there. That's what I wanted to know.
Okay, perfect.
All right. Thank you, sweetie.
All right,
Take
you're
care.
welcome. Thank you. All right, so we're about to wrap it up. So I have 3 more questions here. I have Alan, Harry, and I have Dreams Nene. Dreams Nene?
No.
So yeah, Nana. So, and then I will, we'll wrap it up and I'll give you your homework for today, you guys. So, all right, yeah. So, Alan?
A quick question. Would you please help me with the Telegram and Facebook? I have a Telegram, but I don't have Facebook, but I need to somehow communicate with you all.
Oh, okay. Do you need the links?
Yes.
Oh,
You can
okay.
send
All
it,
right.
yeah, you can send it to me and I can put them on.
And you wanted to send it in email?
Doesn't matter. You can email or whatever. However, you can put them on here. I can copy it. Put them
Okay,
on
I'm gonna put it in the chat,
put them in the
because
chat.
I
I
know
make
that
copy.
somebody else had mentioned Telegram too, so.
Yeah, and then something about funny is I have a stepson. His name is Christopher. Sometimes he does funny stuff, and
Yeah.
and before I know you, I always call him. Oh yeah, stop, Christina.
Yeah, exactly.
Give
That's
him hard.
funny.
I do that. He's almost 30 years old, but since I was 5 years old, he was kind of goofy sometimes.
Yeah.
I kind of give him a hard time as a Christina. But anyway, thank you again.
You are so welcome. So let me put the Telegram in there now. 1 second. And so next we have Harry. Let's see chat.
Okay, good afternoon.
How are you?
I'm well. The question that I have is I'm asking, what is the ideal structure of the three trusts? And let me just explain to you. I have a property where there's no one living in it. I'm just using it as a bank, if you understand what I mean. So I can tap that, get money anytime that I need it. So it's not income producing. I wanted to know what would be the ideal trust to set that under, being that there's two properties involved. One is income producing, one is not. I want to keep them separate. So I wanted to know what would be the ideal structure.
So, I mean, what you can do is you can set up two different trusts and put them in its own individual trust. So the one that's producing income, you can put it into the business trust if you're going to label that as business income and cash flow. And the one that's not producing income, you could put that into a family trust.
Okay. So it doesn't matter if you're living in the income producing one or not.
So if it's an income producing trust, generally we don't consider that your primary residence. So if it is your primary residence, put it in the family trust. But if you live like in a duplex or something like that where it is, then you have to determine which one. So I would tell you, if you're living in the property, put it in the family trust.
Okay, and the other one that's not income producing, put it in the family trust. So I'll just split it between two different trusts.
No, so you can just put one house in one trust. So you said that there's one house that you have that's not having any income.
Correct. So that would go into the family trust.
Yes.
Okay. So is there any particular order that you create this trust? Like you have the business trust, you have the family trust, then you have the ministry trust. Does it matter when they are created, or they can all be created at different times?
They can be created at different times.
Okay. I guess that's it.
All right, thank you, Harry. So
All
I
right.
believe I put the Telegram and the Facebook links in the chat, you guys. So if you're not in Facebook or Telegram, please go ahead and click on those links. All right, then we have Dreams. Hey, Dreams, and then a set, and then we're going to wrap it up for today, you guys.
Okay, I just wanted to circle back. A grantor can be a trustee, but
No.
a grantor can't be a trustee?
No, a grantor cannot serve in an irrevocable trust in any other position, only as a grantor.
But that's just the irrevocable trust.
Correct.
Irrevocable trust, a trustee, primary trustee or the first trustee can make changes.
Yes. So any trustee can make changes as long as they
And an
have
irrevocable trust.
as long as they have title, as long as they have the title as the trustee, they have the trustee powers and they're able to do amendments. So just a disclaimer, all of the trusts that we have in this program are irrevocable.
Got it. Okay. So what I'm trying to find out is a grantor cannot play a dual role in
Correct.
a trust.
That's correct.
Okay. But a trustee can.
Correct.
All right. I got it. Because I just saw something on Facebook and I mean not Facebook.
There's
I saw something on IG.
There's hundreds of different types of trusts, so just be mindful because if you see an ad or something like that, they might not be talking about the same type of trust that you have.
No. He said he was saying that you know for privacy that you could have a meeting with yourself and that would help with the anonymity, the being anonymous or or with the privacy. I don't have it in front of me, but I asked him. He said you could be the grantor and the trustee, and that's how you can do it. But I'm like, if you're a grantor and a trustee, then how do you benefit from the trust?
He's talking about a living trust, which is seen as your alter ego. So all of the your assets are not protected with that type of trust. So creditors can come after that type of trust because you're the grantor and the trustee.
Okay. Okay. All right. Thank you for clarifying that. Have a great day, darling.
Welcome. All right, next we have Miss Asset.
All right.
She's our last contender on The Price is Right.
Hey, okay, so it came through. And before I say this, before I ask this quick question, have you ever read the Rothschild Family Trust book by George Armstrong?
No.
It's a heavy, heavy read. I highly suggest you read it.
Thank you.
Possibly
write it down.
oh yeah. It's actually talking about the reason why these trusts came into play and why these top families have what they have because it's based on trust. So
Who you said is the author?
George Armstrong. It's a very old dusty book. Mine is torn into pieces, but you can easily like go on I think it's archive.org and pull it up and read it in a PDF form, and also you can listen to it audio, but it's very, very interesting. Just the preface is just interesting. So but my question was
what was the title again? I'm sorry, I'm trying to get it.
It's Rothschild Money Trust.
Sounds like a good title.
Oh yeah, it's heavy. It's basically telling you how all this stuff started and why they have what they have still to today because of the trust and how it consistently stayed in place and so on, and how they structured it in the bylaws on how the heirs are not supposed to do this, spend that, keep it going. The first elder and the first sons of the first elders. It's just a playbook, a series playbook. And it also talks about how they set it up and how it's actually playing out today. It's kind of like a Bart Simpson in a book.
I love that. That's powerful.
Yeah, it's pretty deep, very, very deep. So, but my question was, when we have these indentures, say, let's just say something had to be adjusted or changed, do that have to be notarized, or does it just have to be in minutes?
No, so it depends on what you're changing, but you have to have a board meeting about it. And if you want to amend any of the provisions, then you have to create an amendment and number it, and then put what you're updating for that specific provision.
An amendment, number it.
Yeah, number it. So like Amendment 1, Amendment 2, Amendment 3.
Okay. Okay. Got it. Somebody asked what was the name of the book again. It's Rothschild Money Trust by George Armstrong. Thank you so much, Christine. I appreciate
You're
you.
welcome. All right. So we are going to wrap it up, you guys. Thank you so much for a wonderful day 2 of the Wealthy Trustee Workshop. So I do have homework for you guys for today. So a lot of you guys were able to get into the Facebook group and the Telegram chat. So 2 things. One is let us know why you decided to be a trustee. So that is your question for your homework. So we want to know why you decided to set up a trust, become a wealthy trustee, change the trajectory of your family. And then the second thing is you have received the asset inventory list. So in the asset inventory list, that is a worksheet that you guys are going to utilize to determine what assets are going to stay inside of the trust and what assets are going to go inside the trust, what assets are going to remain outside of the trust. So I want you guys to work on that worksheet so that you can prepare for Friday. Friday, we're going to be focusing on transferring assets. So you should have that information already done to know which assets are going to go inside of which trust, okay? So that is your homework for today, you guys. Tomorrow you're going to receive an email with the day 3 workshop, and it's going to have the resources and the templates that you're going to need for tomorrow, as well as the Zoom link. You're going to receive the email 1 hour before class starts. And tomorrow we are going to be going over the ministry trust, which is our tax exempt nonprofit trust. Then after that, I'm going to show you how to obtain the EIN number for that trust. So the responsible party when you're applying for an EIN is the grantor. So you have to have the grantor's personal information in order to apply for the EIN online. So you're going to need their full name and their social security number, okay? So if you want to do it together while we're doing it tomorrow, then make sure that you're able to have access to that information. And then the last thing that we're going to do is I'm going to show you guys how to become ordained ministers if you're going to be operating your faith-based organization as a ministry. So with that being said, you guys have a beautiful and wonderful rest of your Tuesday, and I will see you here tomorrow at the same place and same time. Thank you so much. Bye, everyone.
Bye, everyone. Thank you.
Have
Thank
a
you.
great day, everyone. Thank you so much. So grateful.
Thank
Thank
you.
you.